2026, the year of Gnosis, why the system is collapsing and the true God is awakening. For millennia, humanity has been locked inside a dense, spiritual simulation engineered to exploit them. Generation after generation, human consciousness has been shaped by heavy, external narratives built on fear, guilt, and the desperate need for external salvation. People have been trained to look upward toward a master or outward toward a system to save them. However, we have officially entered a pivotal cosmic crossroads. The year 2026 marks the structural expiration of this old programming, a definitive temporal junction known as the Year of Gnosis. This is the era where the synthetic frequency of the demiurge, false god, faces systemic collapse, while the original organic frequency of the monad, true god, is rising directly within the human template. The desperate inversion, decoding world chaos. To understand why the world feels so chaotic, fractured, and unstable right now, you must look behind the physical curtain. The political turmoil, economic strain, tribal divisions, and social anxieties sweeping the planet are not random coincidences. They are the calculated, desperate reactions of a dying software program. The demiurge, false god, operates entirely on a closed-loop system that requires an active energy supply to survive. It cannot generate its own life force. It must harvest it from you. This harvested energy, often called loosh, is generated whenever a human avatar experiences dense negative emotions like terror, rage, helplessness, and hatred. Because the incoming spiritual frequencies of the monad, true God, are systematically dissolving the matrix firewall, the demiurge, false god, knows its time is running out. The world systems it engineered are breaking down. In a frantic bid to secure its final energy supply, the false god is deliberately turning up the friction. It is manipulating global events to frustrate, scare, and divide the human population. Every crisis you see on the news is a deliberate attempt to shock your terminal, forcing you to emit the high-voltage panic that keeps the system alive as its infrastructure crumbles. The rising of the invisible spirit. While the Matrix executes its final noisy desperation scripts, a quiet, unshakable power is waking up inside the population. This is the activation of the monad, true God. The monad, true God, is the infinite, invisible spirit and the true source of all existence. It is a boundless ocean of pure consciousness and original light that exists completely beyond human concepts of gender, judgment, or limitation. Unlike the insecure, jealous demiurge, false god, the true God does not demand your worship, does not write heavy legal contracts, and does not punish you. It simply is. This original divine spark has been buried deep inside the human chest, heavily suppressed by religious dogma, political distractions, and ancestral programming. But in 2026, the lock has expired. A growing number of people are experiencing a profound, undeniable sense of inner longing, a sudden, deep recognition that this chaotic material world is not our true home. This longing is the literal awakening of Sophia, the divine wisdom, signaling to the human avatar that it is time to stop playing the game of the Matrix and remember its true origin. The external challenges we see today are not the signs of an impending end of the world, they are the birth pains of an entirely new consciousness. The old hardware is failing because the true software is finally booting up from within. Part 2. Shifting into the closed circuit, navigating the collapse with sovereign calm. As the Matrix infrastructure experiences this severe structural decay, the human terminal must undergo an immediate practical shift. Knowing why the system is collapsing is only the first step. The critical objective now is learning how to anchor yourself within the frequency of the monad, true God, so that you are not dragged down by the failing gears of the demiurge, false god. The old world is screaming for your attention through every available digital and physical channel. To survive this desperate harvesting phase without losing your light, you must transition your avatar from an open, reactive target into a protected, closed circuit. 1. Erecting the energetic firewall. For centuries, the Archons have had free access to the human emotional center. They program the avatar to automatically react to bad news, financial shortages, and societal pressure with a burst of survival anxiety. This automatic reactivity is an open doorway in your energetic field. To walk the monadic path in 2026, you must install an uncompromising firewall over your mind and emotions. The practice. When you witness geopolitical updates, economic shifts, or local community drama, observe them with cold, clinical neutrality. Do not give the event your anger, your fear, or your sorrow. The reality: the Matrix wants you to believe that if you do not worry or fight, you are being irresponsible. In truth, withdrawing your emotional investment is the highest act of spiritual warfare available. When you look at a systemic crisis and simply refuse to be afraid, you slam the door in the face of the parasitic software. You retain your life force, leaving the demiurge, false god, with nothing to harvest from your terminal. 2. Disconnecting from the collective panic buttons. The Matrix operates on collective panic buttons, highly engineered social triggers designed to instantly polarize the population. These buttons include racial tensions, tribal divides, political elections, and religious arguments. The moment you choose a side in these Matrix-created battles, you are plugged back into the machine. The monad true God calls for an absolute exit from these binary traps. A truly awakening individual understands that arguing over which worldly group is right is like arguing over which wall of a prison cell is the best. Both sides belong to the warden. Instead of trying to fix, reform, or fight the crumbling institutions of the demiurge, false god, direct that identical energy into your immediate, local reality. Use your clear, stable focus to build clean spaces, cultivate genuine, high-integrity connections, and focus heavily on your creative writing and unique path. You cannot save a simulation that is designed to self-destruct. Your only job is to ensure your own terminal is completely unplugged from the madness. Anchoring the eternal authority. The false awakening leaves people in a perpetual state of waiting. Waiting for a system collapse, waiting for a political savior, or waiting for an external event to set them free. This passive waiting keeps the soul passive and dependent. The monad true God requires you to realize that absolute spiritual authority already rests entirely within you. You do not need the external world to become peaceful before you can experience peace. You do not need the Matrix to validate your freedom. By centering your awareness deep within your internal spark, you become completely self-governing. You pay your bills, navigate the material layout, and fulfill your obligations with quiet efficiency. But your spirit dances only to the infinite source. You become an island of absolute order in the middle of a collapsing cosmic ocean. Date: May 19, 2026. Written by John Kyrex.